Hello, everyone, and welcome to another HLS podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Ritter, and you can call me ND Tex. And as always, you can find our podcast over on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spotify, and of course, Anchor.fm, wherever you may find your podcasts at. Come join us in Discord. That is our live chat channel, herloyalsons.com/Discord. We are live on twitch.tv/herloyalsons. Come join the chat. And of course, you can always find us over at our home at herloyalsons.com. With all that being said, it is time to bring in my boy Eddie. Eddie, how are you doing, my friend?
You know, I'm feeling pretty good. Jumped out to an got a full week of football. Let's do this thing, baby.
Yeah, you're off to an early lead. The one thing I was confident on was the under, and that was a serious undersweat, but it worked out. It happened, but unfortunately that does not count. Yes, Eddie 1-1 in week 0, me 0-2. So Eddie with that one game lead, and of course that is $100 for the loser to donate to Extra Life, extralife.ndtex.com, a very worthy cause. But I swear this year I will be the winner. This will happen. For once, I'm going to beat Eddie. It's going to happen.
To your credit, you are exceedingly due to beat me in a straight up.
That is putting it lightly. Exceedingly due. But folks, if you want to play along, you can always go to herloyalsons.com/pick'em. And I had this out on social media earlier, and I just pulled it up on the stream as well. The lovely coasters, these beautiful slate coasters that are from Playbook Products. They diagram 4 different plays from back in Notre Dame history. Very, very cool stuff. It is part of the grand prize package, and you can get details on how to play herloyalsons.com/pick'em. The opening slate is 29 games. I do not know how Yahoo found 29 interesting games. I think, Eddie, they are more degenerates than we are. Some way I can explain it.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I am cut diamonds over here. I'm very excited for this slate of games.
I am excited. And of course, what we will have, I believe we got 10 different games here. Of course, we start Thursday night. That is tomorrow for those of you listening live, or maybe tonight for those of you on the podcast listening on time. But we are going to pick those games. The majority of them are on the pick'em. One of them is not. But hey, it's Eddie and I head to head. There are picks to be made. I am excited. We got our first full slate, Eddie. Oh, go ahead and lead us off, sir.
Since I'm not in a hotel, I'm going to back away from the mic a little bit. But let's go, baby!
Oh, that was beautiful.
That felt good.
That sounded good. That sounded great. All right, well, that beautiful board is up, and this time we got our records, so you can see where we stand. Again, me 0-2, Eddie 1-1, and there's Milfy with the Hill Gambler right off the bat. I love it. I love it. All right, well, this is one that somehow missed Yahoo's slate of 29 games, and that is the Holy War, opening tomorrow night. Number 14, Utah, going on the road to BYU. 6.5 point favorite, 48 point total. Eddie, sir, you are in the lead. Do the honors.
Well, as you'll recall, I took Utah to win the Pac-12. I think they're going to have a really good year this year. But I feel a lot better about doing this if I had that hook. But I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going to take the fucking bull.
You're gonna take who? You got a little cut out there.
I'm gonna take BYU here.
Oh, okay.
I would really prefer the hook, but you've got the weird Thursday night slate. BYU pretty much has their entire team back from last year, and they were a solid team last year. Their quarterback Wilson played about half of last season as a true freshman. Good experience for him. Rivalry game, these two teams hate each other. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Total set at 48 as you've got on there. I don't think Utah is decidedly better. While I think they're a better team, while I think they're going to have a good year, this is going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some extra chippiness involved, as we usually do between these two teams. So as much as it pains me and terrifies me, I'm going to take the fucking Mormons in this one.
Well, we're going to lead off right off the bat with a little bit of difference here. We'll see if I make up this one game deficit right off the bat. I'm going the Utes. I, too, Eddie, took them in the Pac-12. In this rivalry game, obviously that hook does scare me, but I do like them by the touchdown here. It should be a slugfest, but in this slugfest, I like Utah's line a heck of a lot better. I just think that is eventually going to wear down BYU. I don't think they're going to end up having the horses to keep up. So I'm looking for Utah to pull away probably about like late third quarter or so. They finally get that lead. Don't look back as BYU fails to catch up, and no backdoor cover in this one. I hope to God. So give me the Utes. Let's move on to Friday night. I had to pick something in the slate. There are a few interesting options. The one that was most intriguing to me, though, Eddie, was Oklahoma State traveling all the way to Corvallis to play Oregon State. Oklahoma State, a 14-point favorite here, and apparently a 72-point total here. So maybe we got a shootout. We just might. And usually you take the points in the shootout. Man, Oregon State's real bad. They're real bad. But I don't think they're bad enough to be able to, for me to confidently lay 18. This has all kinds of weird, rusty start on the road written all over it. I think Oregon State will hang around just enough, and I'll take the points in the shootout is what I'm going to go with in this one. Expecting a little bit of weirdness. No offense to the mullet, Gundy, but give me the Beavers. Who do you got, Eddie?
Well, this is an interesting game. I don't think anyone would accuse either of these teams of being a good defensive team.
Nope.
Oregon State brings a lot of players back. They've got 16 total starters coming back. The problem is that team that's coming back was just terrible. Starts don't really mean that much when the returners are garbage at what they do. I mean, here's how bad their defense is. The lowest amount of points that they gave up to a 1A team last year was 35.
That's not good.
They averaged giving up 46. And Okie State is not exactly known for sitting on its laurels and not trying to score on you. Sure, this isn't the team from a couple years ago with studs all over, but they've got pretty much their full O-line returning. I think they're missing one. Ton of skill players returning. It is going to be a little strange. This is the first time since 2012 that their starting quarterback will have never thrown a pass for them before. So that'll be interesting, but the rest of this offense was able to put up 38 a game. I don't like the Friday night. That's weird. Going to Corvallis, a city named after, of course, the universal hero Corbin Dallas, who saved us all when he discovered that the fifth element was love.
Multi-pass?
Oregon State, yes, and multi-pass is what Oregon State's going to see because Gundy's going to put points up. I'll go ahead and lay the 14 here.
Alrighty, so right off the bat, it's going to be interesting, at least going up until Saturday, where I had to throw Kiffykins on here. This is a huge spread. This is morbid curiosity game. Number 5, Ohio State hosting FAU and the Owls. Total in this one, 63.5. Ohio State, a 27.5 point favorite. Who do you got in this one, Eddie?
Well, we've got the fighting Charlie Weiss Jr.'s coming into Columbus.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's still the OC there. And the offense hasn't really been the problem at FAU. And now they're adding DeAndre Francois, who you may recall from Florida State, when we both thought, this kid could win the high. And then he shredded his knee about 87 different ways in the first 5 minutes of their opener.
Shout out, Jack.
Yeah, what's up, Jack? But Francois getting the start at FAU. Here's the thing. That's a lot of points. Ohio State with a new coach. Ohio State with all sorts of new starters on offense. This all sounded familiar in my head, so I actually went back to the first episode of last year that we recorded.
Okay.
When we did this same fucking dance when FAU went to Oklahoma. Well, they got to replace their quarterback. They're replacing a lot of folks. That's a pretty big spread. And they lost 63-14.
I do remember that now.
As always, it's only Wednesday, but I looked on Action Network. Currently, the tickets are $81.83 on Ohio State, which I hate. But I don't care. I'm not playing the same game that I did last year when both of us took the Owls. I'll go ahead and take the Buckeyes via murder time.
Alrighty. Eddie, I actually disagree here, and it's because that spread is just around the right number for me to feel like that Ohio State won't get it. I mean, you're looking for 4 touchdowns solidly. Not that I don't think they can't do it, but you got transfer QB situation going on at Ohio State, and I don't think you have the same transfer QB situation that you had going on at Oklahoma. I think deep down we may have felt that there was some firepower there, and Ohio State, not exactly the offensive explosiveness that Oklahoma has. So,
unless they're playing Michigan, because fuck Michigan.
This is true. But hey, that maybe says something about Michigan's defense. Just maybe says something about that defense.
Put on Brown.
But I digress. I'm going to go ahead and take the Owls here. I think the Charlie Weiss had maybe schematic, not an advantage, but a covering advantage here. Not a true schematic advantage, but a covering advantage with Charlie Weiss Jr. on the sideline. But yeah, I think Ohio State's going to have to prove that they're worthy of these 4 touchdown spreads. So right out the gate, I'm skeptical. So prove it to me, Ohio State. Give me the Owls. Next up, we go from a potential blowout to potential slugfest here. Virginia Tech and Boston College. The total is actually a hell of a lot higher than I expected it. 58.5. Virginia Tech here favored by 5. And bottom line for me here, I don't think Boston College is going to be any good. They've hung their hat on their defense quite a bit lately. But the problem is, I think a lot of those folks now have gone back. I don't see the same talent coming back in. And you only got one weapon that they got to stop. And the Bud Foster retirement tour is going to start off with a little bit of a bang here to make sure they stop A.J. Dillon. I don't think that's going to be enough. I think this game sets up pretty terribly for Boston College. I know they're at home, but give me the Hokies. Who do you got, Eddie?
Well, I'm actually going to take Boston College in this one, so it's going to get nasty real early. I think you're right. I think this is going to be a rock fight type game. I was also very surprised at the total. You could have knocked 10 points off it, and I'd still probably be thinking about the under if I could buy it up to 49.
What makes me nervous about this game?
Yeah, that's the thing is Boston College, you are exactly correct. They have relied on their D the last couple of years. They've only got 3 starters back. A.J. Dillon is still an absolute stud, and again, you are correct. He's the only weapon. They lost 3 of their top 4 receivers. I think they've only got 2 starters coming back on the line. Virginia Tech, meanwhile, they've got 10 defenders returning, but as we discussed last week, that team was such a mash unit, that entire 85 has starts on it, so it's really hard to take too much out of that. Here's one, I like the points in what I think is going to be a kind of a knockdown, drag-out war, but what you're forgetting is that this is a look-ahead game for Virginia Tech, because you know who they have next week, right?
I actually do not. Maybe I have not done sufficient research on this one.
It's a big revenge spot against possibly their fiercest rival that exists now.
Oh my gosh, is that James Madison?
No,
ODU, right?
ODU is next week, so you've got to be expecting that Virginia Tech is going to be looking ahead to that, and that's going to be just enough for Boston College to sneak through.
I think this may be the first time ever ODU has been referred to as a look-ahead game for a Power 5. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Will it be the last? Who knows?
It
Tune
could...
in for the 2020 Virginia Tech season preview.
Will Fuente still be the coach after being beat by ODU twice? Who knows? All right, that is the first 5. We got 5 more to go. So heading over to the midway point, let's take care of a little bit of podcast business. And folks, as always, this is the point in time where I'm going to inject the podcast ad. But for those of you here on stream, first off, thank you.
I like that you start this middle thing to nobody who's listening the same way that you start the podcast ads, because I'm never sure what's happening.
Hey, HLS podcast. We never know what's happening. But anyways, for those of you on stream, thank you for joining. Reminder, you can inject yourself in the chat by doing a /cheer and throwing some bits our way. Literal pennies that you can throw at us just to say crap on stream. Of course, subs as well. And if you have that Amazon Prime, you will see a little reminder pop up on stream to go ahead and use that if you haven't already for the month. So again, thank y'all, and let's go ahead and get back to the picks. All right, so we still got 3 more games, Eddie, to go through on Saturday before we get to the extended weekend slate, which includes Notre Dame. So let's start with a couple of Notre Dame opponents. First, let's start off with number 25 Stanford hosting Northwestern as a 6.5-point favorite. Total in this game is about where you would expect it, 47.5. Who do you got, Eddie?
Yeah, it's that total once again that's going to get me. With, once again, such a low-scoring game, I'm going to take the points here. You've got a Stanford team that they've only got 4 guys on offense coming back. They've lost literally everybody that KJ Costello could throw to. You lose the J.J. Arcega-Whiteside post-up fade. Bryce Love finally, after 19 years, has graduated. Yes, they still have a St. Brown at receiver, but Osiris is about the only receiving threat they've got. You know, the defense was pretty solid last year. Obviously, Adebo, we still miss you and are terrified of you at corner. But then again, this defense also gave up 42 to last year's. So, not that terrifying. Northwestern, they're coming in with a 5-star QB in Hunter Johnson, which is
Northwestern and 5 stars shouldn't be in the same sentence. That makes no sense at all.
That should be your entire receiving core has 5 stars combined. But he's going to be pretty good. Got to wonder about his protection. A lot of changes on the line. Once again, I'm a lot about fading the public. As always, we're recording this on a Wednesday. Right now, 70% of the tickets, 93% of the money is on Northwestern.
Oh dear.
So that should give me pause, and yet I am walking into the Briar Patch and I'm going to take the points in what, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if this gives like a 13-10 game.
Well, Eddie, that is a very terrifying number that you just gave, but you know what? For the first time in this episode, I am simpatico with you, sir. I'm going to take the points as well. And it's for a lot of the reasons that you said. And we talked about this pretty extensively with Rakes in the last episode. I don't know what kind of a team Stanford's going to be right now. I really don't. And it's odd to think that I don't know what Stanford's going to be because, like you said, the targets are gone. KJ Costello's good. Does he have an offensive line in front of him that will actually let him stay upright for most of the game? I don't know. None of this gives me a good comforting feeling, and so because of that, I typically lean towards the points if I don't feel very confident in what the favorite is, period, regardless of how good they may be. Stanford, I feel that this almost has the feeling of a name brand favorite line to it. You know, there's a number in front of Stanford as far as being ranked. They are commonly thought of as a Pac-12 favorite, so I mean, look, apparently 90% of the money being on it means it's not just the sharps that are all over this. It's pretty much everybody. So it's rare that Vegas gets it wrong. Personally, I haven't seen this line fluctuate very much. So all of these things combined probably means this is a gigantic trap.
It's a trap!
But whatever. Let's go whistling into it together, Eddie. Sticking with the points and the Wildcats here. But use your cell phones at this game, kids. Fuck you, Fitzgerald.
What a fucking dweeb.
All right, next up is the trappiest trap game of all time opponent that Notre Dame will apparently be playing this year, and that's Virginia going into Pitt. And Virginia is a 2.5-point favorite. The total in this one, somehow less than Northwestern and Stanford, 46.5. And I tell you what, to see something that low, for as much as Virginia's been hyped, I would feel like the spread, if the total is where it is, the spread should be higher. So, again, this has the feeling of Vegas screaming, what you think you know, you don't really know. So I'm going to go ahead. Here's my logic. My father-in-law, Pitt grad. So I'm going to stick with Papa Joe here. I'm going to go with the Panthers. Let's see if some weirdness comes right off the bat on Virginia, and maybe that little ACC Coastal Darling isn't exactly what we thought they were. Who do you got, Eddie?
I'm glad we're fixing that gross moment of unity. I'm on Virginia here. Um, as stated last week, I think Virginia's going to have a really good year. They do scare the shit out of me. I think they are going to win the Coastal. Look, they brought back 8 starters, and even of the 3 guys they lost, their backups played a bunch. This defense only gave up 20 points a game last year. The Virginia defense is easily the best unit on the field. I don't think
without a doubt.
Question that. Yes, Pitt has quarterback. He's solid. He has 1 O-lineman returning. I think they have maybe 28 starts combined. 20. I looked it up in Steel and I forgot it, of course, because I don't write things down. Because this isn't a professional broadcast. I think y'all figured that out by now. See, I actually like the low spread, low total because this is 17-10. This is 14-7. This is the defensive rock fight that I expect it to be. I don't think Pitt has any weapons left. I think Virginia should win this. I would have trusted the spread up a little higher, but granted, I don't think anyone thinks UVA is scoring a bunch of points. This is going to be a low-scoring defensive game. I'll take UVA.
All right. Well, yes, I guess the gross unity is all over now, but let's see where we land on this one. The only top 25 matchup of the weekend. That is number 16 Auburn and number 11 Oregon playing, of course, very close to both teams here in Arlington, Texas, over in Jerry World. Auburn, a 3.5-point favorite. The total here, 55.5. Eddie, who you got?
I'm going to take Oregon. We didn't discuss them really a lot last week. I think you and I are both pretty high on Utah. But Oregon's got a very solid team coming back. A lot of offense returning. Justin Herbert as senior quarterback is going to be he's not a lot of focus on Tua, a lot of focus on Trevor. Justin Herbert, a year ago was the guy that everyone was like, oh man, this guy, next year he's who we're going to be looking at before the other two blew up the way that they did. I think Oregon's got a lot of weapons, scored 35 points a game last year. I don't see him slowing down at all. On the flip side, Auburn, they're going to start a true freshman at quarterback in Jerry World with Bo Nix. That's a terrifying thought. He should be a little more mobile than Jared Stidham, but Stidham had a whole lot of experience. They've lost their top 2 targets at receiver. I think if we're trying to figure out if this is a fire Chizik or Chizik for Coach of the Year type year, since Auburn only has 2, I think we're going to be closer to a fire Chizik on this one. They should. I would expect that that's going to be a much more Auburn-oriented crowd than Oregon in Dallas, but I don't trust Auburn yet. I'm going to take Oregon, especially if you're going to give me a field goal's worth of points. I'll go ahead and take those. But I'm on the money line on this one, straight up.
Yeah, I was going to mention that exact thing because we actually agree again on this one. The true freshman quarterback thing. Look, Auburn quarterbacking in general scares me. Like you mentioned, Stidham had a lot of experience, but here's the thing with Stidham. He either played worth a shit or he didn't, and there went Auburn right with him. I don't see that changing right now. This offense lives and dies with how the QB plays. We live in a QB-centric world right now where things live and die with the quarterback for just about every single offense, unless you run a triple option. I mean, even the quote-unquote pro styles now, pro styles are QB-centric as well. That's just the way it is. So you're giving me a team that has not had consistent quarterback play. You're telling me a true freshman's going to fix it. You're hosting a team that is going to have national title 2011 revenge on the mind. Yeah, this is going to be a long time coming. I think Ducks are going to be ready. They're going to be up for this one. And I just don't trust Auburn to be the favorite here. This again has a feeling of a brand name spread that Vegas wants to put SEC with the favorite here over Oregon, because you're right, Oregon does return a hell of a lot of firepower. We got year 2 of Mario Cristobal, and then I'm gonna like the
dirtiest program runner in the business, according to whatever the fuck that poll was.
Oh, seriously? I missed that.
There was some poll that I think Rakes retweeted because it had Kelly at 3rd or 4th. It was a poll of coaches of who runs the dirtiest program, and Cristobal at Oregon, it was It was like 38% or something.
What the
fuck did this guy do to piss everybody off so much?
That has to be Phil Knight residual bullshit. Has to be.
I guess, but I don't know. Anyway, continue. I apologize.
I'm still floored. I don't know how I can recover from that, because that makes no damn sense. I'm gonna have to follow up in that feed and read that article. I like how BK was ranked in the top 5 too. That's pretty great. Jesus. All right, but yes. Anyway, I like Oregon's firepower here. Auburn should have a solid defense. It will keep this game close. But yeah. I think I'm going to be sprinkling a little bit on the money line. Hope my sister's not listening. Sorry. Just ain't going to happen in this one. I like Oregon in this.
I was expecting you to take Auburn just from the family perspective, since you usually do.
Too many times. Been burned too many times. I just can't. I can't with this team anymore. I don't necessarily give a shit one way or the other what happens to Chiswick. It's going to be great entertainment. It'll be fantastic content. But yeah, that hot seat's going to get lit immediately when non-conference gets dropped right off the bat. All right, now we go into Sunday. I love the opening week of college football where you get these highlight games. Man, are we going to have a fun little shootout in this one. 80 points is the total in this. Oklahoma favored over Houston by 23.5. Maybe a shootout's a little bit of a misnomer with that kind of a spread, but look, Oklahoma ain't going to play defense, folks. They're just not. But with all that being said, like you said, Eddie, all that, well, what we were just talking about with Ohio State, well, they're bringing in a new quarterback. It's another transfer. Maybe they're not going to get their legs out from under them. Sure, it's Houston. Houston's kind of not been great lately. It seems like their run is kind of at the bottom end ever since Herman left, but can Oklahoma really do it? Yeah, they can. I'm not doubting them again. Go ahead, and I will lay every last one of those points. I do not doubt that Hurts is going to carve Houston up like crazy. I feel like on principle, I just have to throw on the over if it's still at 80 by the time I get around to it, just to see if it happens, because this has the feeling of a game that could hit there by get close by the half. Who do you got, Eddie?
I am also taking the Sooners in this one. Houston will do their part to get to that over. De'Aaron King is still a great quarterback, assuming that he's been able to fully recover from the injury he suffered at the end of last year. Great quarterback. Houston can score a lot of points, and that was before they got Dana Holgorsen, who, as we know, loves to chuck it. So I think Holgo will be more than happy to score points. But, man, the only thing that defense had last year was Ed Oliver.
He gone.
And aside from Major Applewhite inexplicably getting into a fight with him about a sideline jacket, without Ed Oliver, that defense is trash. All the things that I said about Oklahoma last week stand. Yeah, they lost a lot of targets. Yeah, we don't know how Jalen Hurts is going to do. It don't matter. This is your practicing. I mean, this is scrimmage play level defense that they're going to see. I think OU, I haven't looked at what the team total is. I'd be very curious because I think OU is good for about 60 in this one on their own.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that you said principal play on a total of 80 is an over.
I have weird principles, Eddie.
Yeah. Hey, I respect it. It's funny. I can't remember what the official stat was, but it was something about when an over-under is I think it was 75% or 75 plus, the percentage was like way high for the over, which is not what you would expect. Which, hey, great stat, I know.
Well, no, it's 75 though.
Very specific.
At 75 though, I mean that's when you expect it to turn around on you, but not so much. It's mostly thanks to Big 12 football because it is the impossible to handicap thing because sometimes not even a defense coming to play. It's the offense making mistakes more so than anything, which makes it impossible to actually handicap. But yeah, it always seems like when the number's this damn high, it hits every single time, and it is
and in the third quarter too.
Yeah, and it's not exactly. It's not even a sweat. It's like in the third quarter, you're laughing. It's like I would have won this if it was 100. I think this season though, I'm waiting for it. There's going to be a triple digit total, and I will be very tempted to actually take the over when I see it. Anyways, now for the final game, the main event of the week, of course, is the epic brawl between number 9 Notre Dame heading on the road to unranked Louisville on Monday night. We got Monday Night Football, Eddie. That's a weird thing to say about Notre Dame. And Notre Dame, this line has actually come down. 19-point favorite. Total is at 54.5. Who do you got in this one, Eddie?
I know that I tend to sound pessimistic with Notre Dame. I know that last week I took the under on the season win total. Look, if we can't cover against this fucking Louisville team, forget 9 wins. We need to be worried if we're looking at another 4-win season. This team is absolute garbage. Everything connected to this team is garbage. Papa John, who knows where he is? You know where the former CEO of Papa John just went?
No, we're
Arby's. He went to Arby's, Ryan.
Wait, how? I'm confused. How in the world did that happen?
Not actual Papa John. The guy that I guess replaced Papa.
Oh, he didn't even last? I thought we were talking Papa here. I was like,
No,
who
no,
the hell would
Papa's-
actually touch that poison pill?
Papa's still running donuts in his Camaro in a field somewhere.
He's hanging out with
The point
Austin in
is-
the negative zone.
The negative zone must always be filled to bring balance to the universe. Permanently, apparently. Look, I don't care what holes I said Notre Dame made. The only thing that I think is really a question is, since Dorr is officially kicking off from the start, is over-under of how many times he kicks it out of bounds. Since I think we should be seeing a lot of kickoffs, I'm setting it at 2.5, and I'd still take the over. Louisville is trash. If we don't beat this team by 35, I'm going to have a lot of picks on Notre Dame opponents this year, probably.
All right, well, Eddie, I agree with you here. I was a lot more nervous when this line was closer to 21 or 20.5. I like that it's come down to 19. That also means the money is going in the opposite direction of Notre Dame, which makes me feel even more comfortable. Look, everything Eddie just said is absolutely true, because remember, this team had BVG operate its defense. It takes a little while to recover from that. And yeah, and you don't want to face an offense that is bringing back a lot of firepower on offense despite the injuries, despite the Komet's gone, despite that Young's gone, despite that Austin is in the negative zone, as we stated earlier. It's not going to matter. This defense was not great before BVG. It was worse during BVG. It's not going to get that much better after. I saw some of the Louisville folks looking for stuff for the Friday roundup, saying that the defense may surprise some people. Motherfuckers, the defense will surprise me if they actually stop Notre Dame from scoring on every drive. That defense has been terrible for quite a long time. You're not exactly setting a high fucking bar here. Let's just be clear about that. And then on the other side of the ball, man, Louisville is going to have to struggle and figure out what exactly they can do on offense. This is a full rebuild job. I don't know what in the world Petrino did to this team besides apparently leave it out to rot and dry in the sun. But this is such a bad start. This is the worst thing Louisville could have asked, because the whole nation can watch. There's no other distractions. If you want to watch football, this is it. This is what you're going to see. You are going to see a damn murder and a half here. Give me Notre Dame. I am confidently laying these points. The total is weird. I'm not sure where I feel on the total. Part of me says under, because I think Notre Dame's defense, if they can kind of show up and if the offense does what I expect it just to be pass rushing all day long and sacks upon sacks upon sacks upon sacks. So that's where I can see the under hit. But this is going to be a fun way to start the season if you're a Notre Dame fan. If you're a Louisville fan, sorry, have some fucking shitty pizza or something. I don't know. But there we go. Those are the 10 picks, Eddie. And man, tomorrow, actual college football and multiple games. We don't just have to have a couple. We don't have to dive into the FCS as well just to hit our fix. Full slate coming, and I cannot wait, Eddie.
It's going to be great. There are some fun games tomorrow that I thought we could have picked. I think UCLA Cincinnati is going to be a fun one. Georgia Tech Clemson, I think, is a very interesting game. Just bonus pick for the kids. That line is currently up to 37.5. Clemson doesn't like to cover, and you're going to lay that many points against an option team? Nah, baby. Give me that 37.5. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. There are some huge spreads.
Oh, yeah, there are. There's some real interesting ones. I tell you what, you want a money line special?
Yeah, let's hear some Eddie money line special before we go.
Here's the one money line special I got for you. Rutgers is garbage. They are somehow favored by 16.5 against Massachusetts. Not only am I taking Massachusetts to cover, about plus 500 on the money line. Yeah, let's go. Let's get weird to start.
That is some weird shit.
We are back, baby.
Is that a Friday night game too? I want to say.
Yeah, it's Friday night game.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, let's get weird at the Soonge, baby. The State University of New Jersey will not know what hit it. They're gonna be celebrating. Oh, it's the 150th anniversary of college football. Remember that time we played Princeton or whatever the fuck it was? Nobody cares. You're butt, and you're gonna lose to Massachusetts. And I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna be rich. College football is back, baby. Throw 3 TVs in your living room. Tell your family you don't care about them. Your friend, oh, guess what? It's my girlfriend's birthday, and we're gonna go do goat yoga. Fuck goat yoga. It's football time, baby. It's the best time of the year. Sink it in. We got Thursday games. We got Friday games. We got Saturday games. We got a Sunday game. We got a Monday game. It's 5 straight days of glory. Enjoy your holiday weekend. Enjoy college football. Do not eat Papa John's because it's not good pizza and it's affiliated with them. And hell, now don't eat Arby's because it's tangentially related to them. And it also sucks. I love you all. Go Irish. And hail Gambler.
I cannot believe we just had the term fuck goat yoga heard on this podcast.
Honestly, I'm surprised that you've had me on this podcast for 5 years and it's never come up.
It's so beautiful. Well, folks, that is going to wrap it up for us. I hope everybody enjoyed the picks. Enjoy the week of college football. And, of course, make sure you head on over and subscribe to this podcast over on Apple Podcasts and leave a review while you're over there, please. You can also find us on Spotify and wherever you find your podcasts at. Come join us in Discord or live chat channel, herloyalsons.com/Discord. And of course, you can always find us at our home at herloyalsons.com. It's finally here, y'all. Go Irish, beat Cardinals. Have a good one.